Hey everybody, welcome in. It is another edition of the Doug Russell Television Show right here on sportsradio1250.com. First of all, congratulations. I finally got one right. Michigan State didn't even belong in the same building as North Carolina last night, especially through the first 10 minutes of the game. After that, it seemed as though North Carolina was on cruise control, and the national championship goes to the Tar Heels. In 6 years, Roy Williams has won 2 national championships. Not to be outdone, Tom Izzo's still an elite coach. You can't take anything away from him. The most interesting statistic that I heard during last night's game was the fact that in Tom Izzo's 11 years, 5 Final Fours, by the way, at Michigan State, if you went there for 4 years, you played in at least one Final Four. I think that's an impressive resume, and certainly he is Hall of Fame worthy. And Tom Izzo is one of the elite college basketball coaches, but hats off to Roy Williams and the North Carolina Tar Heels. This morning on the radio program, we had a chance to catch up with an old friend from formerly of Fox Sports Wisconsin, now of the MLB Network. Trenny Kusnierek dropped by for a visit. So I saw the 30 and 30 when you're down there in Arizona. How much different was it covering the team from the national perspective as opposed to the local perspective? Because it was just one of, like you said, 30 stops that you were making. You were on the road for 32 straight days.
Yeah, it was different. You had, every team, it was very broad and very general. You weren't getting really in-depth with feature stories or, it's not like you're delving into the Trevor Hoffman one kidney, I'm trying to think of the player in Seattle who has diabetes. You're not diving into stories like that. It's very basic. It's very, let's give you an overview of the team. Let's set you up for the season. Let's take a look at some of their X's and O's issues and then move forward. Whereas I think definitely when I worked at the regional level, you're with a team at least 130 to 150 games plus spring training. So you're really diving in to find those kind of little nuggets that make the players people. Whereas at the national level, it's less, at least at this point. Now, I think as the season goes on, if features develop, we definitely will explore them. But in spring training, there's just not the time. You're trying to shoot. We had to shoot an hour show in a day. And in Arizona, it was basically a day. We shot an hour show. Every once in a while, we would shoot some things the morning of taping. But the way it was set up is we would get into a camp on day one. We were there by 7 o'clock in the morning. We hammered out 9 interviews. I was done interviewing guys by 8:45. So you're getting all this stuff, and then on day 2 you go in, and in some teams, day 2 you get a couple more interviews and a little bit more video of guys, and you might talk to 1 or 2 other people, and then we would tape the talkbacks that I did. So you had to have an hour show. It basically seemed like you knew the team really, really well after those 2 days. I had to do the White Sox and the Mariners and the Kansas City Royals. I don't know anything about those teams. You had to go in and become an expert, per se, in 2 days. But it was good. It was a good crash course. Like I said, it was a great crash course in all the other teams.
MLB Network's Trenny Kusnierek. Don't forget, opening day at Miller Park is now just 3 days away. Can't wait. Hope to see you there. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow starting at 5 right here on sportsradio1250.com and also on the radio, 1250 WSSP. See you tomorrow.
Doug Russell Show. Doug Russell Show.